Hello everybody, welcome. My name's Tori. This is my channel, Tori Moves. And today we're going to be doing some myofascial release. So there is equipment that you do need for this. If you have just a ball, any kind of ball will work. I say normally like a tennis ball or a golf ball, like a firm golf ball, not a foam practice golf ball, are the best to use. I have this trigger point ball, which I like because it's a softer foam on the outside but dense in the middle, so it's good for rolling out some of the bonier parts if you bruise easily, which I do. The other thing that I highly suggest and recommend, but if you don't have them, it's not the end of the world, are these little toe spacers, and they're these little rubber pieces that go in between your toes and help to keep your toes spread out. Now these are great for just putting on and like walking around the house in, to help get your feet to spread apart. And it helps with a lot of things with like your hips, your back, and issues with your feet. Now, if you have some sort of like acute issue or you just had foot surgery, probably talk to your doctor before trying this out. But if you're just an average healthy person, this is for you. So you're actually going to get started standing. And if you know you have some sort of balance issues, you might want to have a kitchen counter nearby, or like a chair that you can hold on to. A chair is not ideal because it can move, but just something to help with your balance. I like to start with whichever foot is kind of bothering me the most. So today that's my left foot, and I just have these toe socks on to kind of help with grip. You can also do this with bare feet. It's just the same. Sometimes the toe socks actually bunch up through the foot. So to start, I'm just rolling up and down the length of my foot, gentle pressure, not really in any particular order. And you want to try and cover the whole surface area of your foot and go in a few different directions. And just notice where it starts to feel tight. And you might start to feel like little bones kind of moving around. There's tons of joints inside your foot. I know we kind of think of our foot as one thing, but there's all these little articulations. Okay. And then we're going to start to get a little bit more focus and apply a little bit more pressure. So we're going to start at the big toe joint and just kind of really lean your weight into it and press into it and take a few deep breaths. So make sure you're not holding your breath while you're doing this. And then from our big toe joint, we'll roll up the inner arch of the foot, which tends to be sensitive and tender in most people, and up towards your heel, and then roll back the same length. Good. And then you're going to kind of travel over to that next toe, and you're going to roll up towards your heel and then back down, tracing the same set of toe joints. And if you notice, I'm kind of keeping my toes curled under to help hold on to the ball. And then also you want to feel like you're flattening your foot out the whole time here. I'm tracing up that middle toe and that toe joint, and then over to the third toe. And it's okay to feel like, these toes are so small that it's hard to get really specific in there. Just aim the ball the best you can in that direction. And then we're going to go to that little toe joint. So we're going to press and hold here for just a second. My heel is down. I'm bending through my knee slightly, and I'm letting my weight press into the ball and just breathing. And this really stretches my ankle and the back of my calf. And then I'm going to trace up towards my heel, and then back down from the heel towards the toes. Good. Now the next thing I like to do is have my heel down on the floor and wrap my toes around, kind of like you're holding on to something with the bottom of your foot. Like you could make this toe joint and this toe joint touch the floor and your toes curl over the top. And then just rock a little bit from side to side and maybe bend your leg and straighten your leg and alternate between the two. And this is to really stretch the inside and outside of the foot. And breathe. And it's normal if you maybe start to even feel like a little bit sweaty or your heart rate starts to increase, because you're releasing tense areas through your body. So your muscles are working. There are muscles in your feet, whether you feel it or not. Oh, and if you find a tender spot, hold it for a second or two and just kind of lean into it. So the outside of my foot on this side is really tight, and that actually travels all the way up my leg and through my hip, through that side of my back. My left shoulder has a little bit of issues, and it's kind of goes all the way up to my neck. So whatever starts in your feet travels elsewhere through the body. Nothing is isolated here. Okay. Now I'm going to take the ball underneath this little like heel pocket here. I'm going to try and keep my 5 toes spread out as best as possible, and then apply some pressure and just rock from side to side. So this is where, if you've heard of like plantar fasciitis, this is where that big band of connective tissue kind of starts, because it runs down through your heels. It's actually like part of your Achilles. Like that's part of where it starts from. So if you have plantar fasciitis and you know that, this might not be the greatest thing for you to do, because you have an inflamed spot and you're like adding more inflammation. So unless your physical therapist or podiatrist or whoever you see who's a doctor has told you that this is okay, I would stay away from this one, or from just this pressure in general. Because I have not seen your body, so I don't know what's going on with you, and I'm not a doctor. And even if I was, I can't diagnose you through the internet. Okay, so that's one foot, and if you're like, I don't know if this really works, if this really does anything, we're going to just take a deep breath. You're going to fold forward here, and you should feel like I feel my left hamstring feels more open. I feel like these toes are able to spread out a little bit more easily. It just feels like there's more space through my whole left leg. So now we're going to switch to the other foot. We'll start by rolling in no particular order, just kind of rolling around, feeling out how this foot feels. And you want to be gentle to start, and then you can slowly start to apply more and more pressure. Make sure that you're breathing. Okay, and then we'll start to take the ball underneath the big toe, have your heel down, just kind of lean into it, and take a few deep breaths here. And if you're using like a countertop or something like that to hold on to, if you're rolling out your right side, you probably want to be holding on with your right hand so you can stabilize through that side a little bit more. We'll start to trace all the way up the inner edge of your foot towards your heel, and then roll it back down. And you want to go nice and slow. If you go fast, you miss all the good stuff. I think I went a little bit too fast right there. And then we'll start to roll it back up, and we'll go over towards that second toe, and then roll down up towards your heel, and then back from your heel towards that second toe. Good. And then over towards the third toe. So I actually had a lot of issues with my right foot, to the point where I couldn't even wear flip-flops, which I know flip-flops are bad for your feet. I actually wear orthotic type of flip-flops. They look super cute though. But because this little muscle on the outside of my foot was just so like tight and tense, that anytime I put anything between my big toe and my second toe, it would seize up. And after doing Pilates for about a year or two with the reformer and like taking more care of my feet, I can wear flip-flops. Again, they're the orthotic flip-flops, a little bit more comfortably. And the shoes I wear tend to be the minimalist, like flat sole shoes as much as possible. Shoes that kind of squish your toes or that have a lot of cushion underneath them actually aren't great to work with the optimal function of your foot. Now, I mean, I do wear heels occasionally. I do wear boots that are kind of pointy-toed, so I'm not a perfect person, but just when I can help it, when it makes sense, and especially when I exercise, I actually wear those little Vibram 5-toe shoes, because I find those to be the best when I'm trying to move, lift weight or move athletically. Now I have the ball underneath my pinky toe. I'm going to bend into my knee. I'm going to lean forward here and just take a couple of deep breaths. And the transition to wearing minimalist type of shoes was not overnight. Like, I spent years and years as a dancer being mostly barefoot, which can on its own cause a bunch of like foot injuries, but my body was already used to me being barefoot all the time. And I'm not a runner. I didn't try to run barefoot. That's its own separate transition. So I would say, just take it slow and try to be barefoot as much as possible. But if you're getting feedback from your body that it's painful, that's a sign to slowly make the adjustment. You might have tried to do too much too fast. We're going to have our heel down and the ball underneath the ball of your foot. My toe spacer has kind of slipped out a little bit here. Okay. And you're just going to kind of rock your foot back and forth. And really make sure to get to the edges because that tends to be tight a lot of the time. And you see how my ankle is creasing here? I'm trying to kind of get this sort of motion forward. And that's a lot of, like for example, if you're squatting and your ankle can't properly flex in this direction, then your body makes up for it somewhere else because your body's just trying to do the movement. And so usually where it makes up for it is like in your back, in your hips somewhere. We're going to roll forward now and have your 5 toes down on the floor. And then have the ball just in front of that little heel pocket. You're going to lean into it and just rock from side to side. And this is something that, you could do this every single day for a few minutes. Just roll out your feet. You don't have to do this specific order. Just kind of notice where your foot's tense. If you find a sore spot, lean into it. Use your own intuition because if you tap into that awareness of your body, you can help yourself with a lot more things than you might feel that you're capable of. I'm going to roll that inner edge one more time just because I know that's a spot. I've actually sprained this ankle once and I had an Achilles tendon injury on this side when I used to dance. So if you've had any sprained ankles or anything, you might want to pay extra attention because there might be scar tissue that's built up that's a little bit more tight. And then we're going to fold forward again and feel that this side hopefully feels a little bit more like the first side. Hopefully your calves can let go a little bit more. Now I'm more aware of how tight my calves are because my feet are loose and open. So maybe that can be the next video for our myofascial release. We'll stand all the way up nice and tall. So thank you guys so much for watching this. If you enjoy myofascial release type of videos, let me know. We can make more of these. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it so it helps more people find this video, and subscribe if you haven't. I have new videos every Monday and every Friday. Thank you guys so much. Have a great week.